Hi, this is Krisha Warren, and today I will be presenting on technology and social media impacts to our Generation Z population. I chose this topic and group because I have an 11-year-old daughter that is impacted by technology and social media on a daily basis. Our Generation Z population was born between 1995 and 2012. As toddlers and prior to entering elementary school, they accessed the internet to watch movies, videos, and play games. Immediately upon entering elementary school, students are often provided tablets instead of textbooks for class assignments and other educational learning opportunities, which has been my daughter's experience. In addition, my daughter was given her first iPhone at the age of 10, and that's when social media really started to kick in. As mentioned in Chapter 8 of Communicating Effectively by Hybels and Weaver, teenage girls average 100 texts per day. My daughter, as a preteen, averages around 30 texts per day. Some other numbers: 75% of teenagers own a phone, with 22% of them using social media at least 10 times a day, for upwards of 7.5 hours of media site usage. With all this screen time increased, physical playtime has decreased, and the opportunity for verbal communication also has decreased. So when I think of the technology and social media impacts, there are positives and negatives. Thinking of the positive side, and from my daughter's point of view, she has access to instant information on topics that she's researching as part of homework assignments. Second, we have a lot of family and friends that live far away, so she's able to connect with them real time and through social media. She posts pictures, responds to their posts, and instant messages her friends and family. I've seen great creativity and awesome craft projects she's completed by watching how-to videos online. My daughter has also engaged in her own video creation presentations personally and at school that have been quite impressive. I believe her presentation skills and vocabulary are more advanced than her sister's was at this age, who's 10 years older. This is as a result of technology and social media access. On the negative side, this population is overstimulated and constantly multitasking, which causes my daughter sometimes, I catch her half listening and not really engaged in conversation that may be going on while she's on her cell phone. Although we haven't experienced cyberbullying, I do have a niece that went through that, and it did impact her mentally and caused her to shut down verbally, which obviously is a negative impact to communication. As much as social media has been great to connect online to friends and family, I've witnessed it negatively impacting face-to-face communication. It's almost as if they're awkward and don't know how to communicate using their voices when they're actually face-to-face, because they're so used to doing it on their cell phones and through social media. I know as a parent I have a lot of responsibility when it comes to my daughter's technology and social media usage. She's allowed to use her cell phone after homework is complete, and never when we're at dinner or having family discussions or family movie time. Those times are reserved for discussing the day, upcoming events, and what's going on in our lives. So my focus is on a lot of verbal and one-to-one communication during those times. I also require her to actually call her grandmother and speak to her at least weekly to avoid her from trying to text and use her cell phone that way. Also, I don't allow her to have her own Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram accounts. She's able to use mine while I watch, so I have access to her phone and all the content she's accessing. In addition, I created what I call a no judge zone, and I told my daughter if she comes around or across any content that's confusing or she has questions, she needs to ask me. We need to have that discussion. And if it's inappropriate, I explain the best way I can for an 11-year-old to understand and let her know, again, it's not appropriate for her to access again in the future. In closing, technology and social media influence impact our Generation Z population on a daily basis. It's important to acknowledge and be aware of the positive and negative impacts to appropriately address them with our child or your child or whomever you know that's part of the Gen Z population. In my opinion, although it's easy to use, you should avoid substituting technology and social media for opportunities to engage in verbal conversations. Thank you for listening.